Hello, Aces. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I watched the third episode of SWV and Escape, The Queens of R&B, and it's titled Discord, and that's exactly what it was giving. So the ladies are still feuding. Tasha and Tamika have their, issues and they're battling it out. And Tamika with her mother. So her mom comes over and, Tamika cooks dinner. And right off the bat, I feel like her mom was just extremely defensive and argumentative from the jump. So Tamika is trying to explain to her mother how hurt she is, not just about the money, but just about how she was treated throughout her entire childhood. And her mom is giving me very much, narcissistic personality disorder, which I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist, just to, let you guys know off the bat. But I know enough people who I would consider to be narcissistic or at least have those traits to recognize them within Tamika's mom, Gloria. And she's very hard on Tamika. Like she's not trying to hear her child's heart. And if you ever try to talk to somebody who's like that, it's like talking to a brick wall. Like you feel like you're not conveying, anything that they're receiving or they're able to process. And maybe her mom just doesn't have the ability to hear Tamika, because one thing she said that really, stood out to me was she was talking about, Tamika's father, and with such pain and sorrow in her voice. And so it makes sense that, there's a disconnect there. I don't know if Tamika, she said she looks like her dad. I'm sure that she probably reminds her mother of her father. And it's unfortunate because children do not ask to be brought into this world. Okay. And hopefully, I'm hoping, like, I don't know if it's going to happen, but I'm hoping that this family can find a good therapist, because there are so many unhealed wounds within the Scott family. Okay. I mean, just, Tamika cooks dinner and her mom is like, "Oh, you already cooked, you already made our plates." Like, and then she's like, "Well, look at me, look at me." Like, she's just very controlling and domineering over Tamika. And I'm really glad that Tamika put her foot down. She's like, Mom, if you can't respect me, then I'm going to have to, take a step back. And her mom's like, "Well, what do you mean take a step back?" And she's like, "You know what I mean." And Tamika is what, in her like 40s or 50s? I mean, she has her own family, her own children, her own husband. And it's just like, if someone can't respect who you are as a woman or as a person, period, then absolutely set boundaries and protect yourself first. And I feel like her mother doesn't know how to do that with her children. I feel like a lot of people, especially in her generation, were socialized to believe that their children are their, you know, property, or their, they're there to control. And it's unfortunate, right? So I'm glad to see Tamika standing up for herself. Her mom, of course, goes into the what I felt was a very abusive tactic. And she's like, "Well, I love you." And it's that cycle of abuse, and her mom might not even be cognizant or aware that she's doing it. So I think that the best thing that Tamika could do is to set very firm boundaries and to protect herself, protect her heart, protect her peace. And I'm really glad that she's able to do that. And like I said again, I hope they can find a really good, family therapist or individual therapy that, can help them navigate their relationship. And if that's not a safe place for Tamika to be, if she is not, protected in that dynamic, then she's right. She needs to step back and essentially cut her mother off, unfortunately. So the ladies are, again, discussing amongst themselves about, you know, the tour dates, and, Tasha is going off doing her own thing. Taj, she's in Nashville with her family, so it shows that she, you know, comes back from touring with SWV. They've gone all over, Africa, South Africa, and all these different wonderful places. She comes home to her husband Eddie and her son Eric, and she meets up with Tasha in Nashville, Tennessee, who is shopping a solo deal for her gospel career. So she's thinking about, possibly stepping away from the group. She's asked, have you told the other members of SWV? Tasha's like, no, I haven't. But they go to the African American Music History Museum in Nashville, Tennessee, which is really nice because I never knew that that existed. The closest I've ever been was, I went to the Motown Museum in Detroit and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, Ohio. But I'm so happy to see that, Nashville has a history dedicated to Black artists in our music history. And, their pictures are up on the wall. And, she's talking with Tosh about possibly, stepping away from the group and going solo. Uh, I wish her the best. I mean, I guess if that's her decision. And here we have, Candy and Coco. Essentially, I feel, are like the two leaders of their respective groups. So Candy says, well, she made it clear. She said the difference is that Escape doesn't have a designated lead singer because they've all, sang lead at different times, whereas Coco is the lead singer of SWV. So that's the difference there. But Candy is the most successful, financially and business wise out of both groups, actually. And then Coco is, she went off, I guess, they had their issues. They were trying to decide, who should be the headliner. And my thoughts are, because it's only one night, that they should co-headline. And that's what the girls were trying to figure out. The ladies were trying to discuss. And somehow, Coco gets upset. She's like, well, I sold 30 million records and, I'm not going to open for anybody. And they're like, she leaves the group. They're trying to discuss the details. I actually watched Candy's YouTube video. She has a channel and she was discussing this. And she's like, SWV has opened for us in the past. So I don't know why that couldn't happen this time, but they're, going at it. And my hope is that they work it out, that they can be co-headliners and maybe even split the money evenly. Because I know that Candy and Tiny, because of their roles on reality TV, with Candy, being a part of the Real Housewives of Atlanta cast, and then Tiny having her show with T.I., they are more relevant today, and they have a larger, like social media following than the members of SWV, even if they did sell more records back in the 90s. So I don't know. I hope that they figure it out because, one, they're amazing. I mean, they're icons in our culture, and I want to see them be successful and tour. And I definitely want, Tasha and Tamika to heal. It's really difficult just seeing their mother and their dynamic because Tasha, she knows that she's the favorite child. Tamika is so heartbroken over the stolen money. And it's not even about the money per se, like the royalties. It's more so about the broken trust. And that mother is so toxic. She is. I really hope Tamika protects herself, protects her peace, and, just loves her mother from a distance, from a safe distance. And I hope the SWV and Escape can work out their differences so that we can see a tour or an album even, right? A collaboration, that would be great, coming soon. Drop down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. I always want to hear from you guys. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Also, hit the notification bell button so that you can know when I put my next video out. And I will talk with you later. Take care, Aces. Bye.